together. Stand.
Amen. All right, please remain standing for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Members of council, y'all have in your packet the minutes from August 5th meeting. When y'all have had time to review them, I'll entertain a motion to adopt those.
Mayor, I move to adopt.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander,
I second.
second by Council Lady Austin. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And the minutes stand approved. Next up, public comment. Do we have anybody for public comment? Will you, Pam, check that mic, just tap on it, make sure we can hear it. I think it's on, but it may not be. If it's not, let me know and I'll slide it on for you. Nope. You got it? There you go. The floor is yours, Ms. Owens.
Okay. Mayor and council, most of you know who I am on 12th Grade Drive. I'm here today. The last few years, we've had to write a short note requesting the Halloween candy for the park. And I'm doing that today for the Williamston Area Historic Commission. Because one year we didn't get it early and we didn't have any good choices. And so I got a letter I'll turn it into you, and
Perfect.
this is what I want to do.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are.
Thank you, dear.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't know I had to sign in.
Yes, please. Are you doing public comment?
Yes, I just have a question.
Come right on up to the mic. You don't worry about even signing in. Come on up to the mic. I'll put you down on the.
Okay.
State your name, please, so we'll have that for the record.
Makins.
Yolanda Macon?
Makins with an S, yes.
Makins, okay.
And I live on Etheridge Street, right off Hamilton over here. And I just got a question about our trash collection.
Okay.
So we have a sign that says the town of Williamston stops right here, so I assume we live beyond that sign. So we have to pay for our trash collection. Is that correct?
That's correct, unless you're a Williamston resident. All Williamston residents even pay, but Williamston residents, I think it's $12 a month, something like that. Are you in the city or outside? Etheridge, I think, is outside the city.
Yeah, we have to pay DNS sanitation.
Correct.
But my question is, beyond that sign, it's not supposed to be any collection from the city of Williamston.
They do on some. They have an outside rate. If it's on their path, like where the truck goes and turns around, it's not far out of the way, they do some.
Okay, that's just my question.
Yep.
Can you answer?
Yes, ma'am. Very few, but on occasion some. And if you'd like to be on that list, if you'll contact Town Hall, what they'll do is they'll get the sanitation guys to look at the route and see if that's something they can work in. There's a little bit extra rate, less than what a Williamston resident is. But if they can work you in and it makes feasible, we would absolutely love to do that for you.
Okay, so what does that have to do?
Just call up Town Hall.
Okay. I think
Was
it's
that once that address again?
for Etheridge. And I think one of my neighbors had started a petition a while back, and it didn't work out.
I'm not aware of any petition, but
Okay.
again, if it makes sense, it's not out of the way. We're not having to, turn trucks around and do all kind of other stuff. It's part of the route anyway. There's a few they will pick up.
All right, I'll do that.
Thank you so much. All right, next up, this is the hour that I have been waiting for quite a while. Actually, I've waited on it since last year about this time. I got to meet Miss Sally Robinson. She's a longtime Williamston resident, and I got to help her celebrate her 99th birthday. And unfortunately, I was out of town for her 100th birthday, but she recently had one. Today, we'd like to honor her. So I asked Councilman Haygood if you will join me up front, and we've got a resolution honoring Miss Sally Lee Robinson. If she'll come, if she's able to make it up front, I would love to read this resolution for her. I heard, even at 100 years old, she's a pretty good dancer, too. I heard she danced all the way in the room. have for you. It says, whereas Miss Sally Lee Robinson, a native daughter of the town of Williamston, was born on August 9th, 1924. Is there anybody in the room born before 1924? I didn't think so. To Mr. Richard Lee and Miss Lillian Agnew, and whereas Miss Robinson has lived her entire life in the town of Williamston, has witnessed and contributed to the century of progress, challenges, and transformation of the town of Williamston, the county of Anderson, the state of South Carolina, the United States of America, and the world. And whereas Miss Robinson graduated from Caroline High School in Williamston, South Carolina, and afterwards attended beautician school in Orangeburg, South Carolina, where she received her beautician's license. And whereas Miss Robinson, who has earned the admiration and respect of all who know her, was the wife of the late Kelly Robinson and mother to the late Minnie Lee Vaughn and Lester Robinson. And whereas over the past 100 years, that's amazing. 100 years, Miss Robinson has lived a life filled with dedication, resilience, and love, serving as a role model and mentor to her family, friends, community, and the congregation of New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church, where she has been a member since 1939.
Wow.
And whereas Miss Robinson, who is known for her compassion, her kindness, and service to others, is extremely proud of her family, an extended family which consists of 6 grandchildren, 10 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren, and 4 children who she raised as her own, and countless other children in the community where she served as a mentor and mother to all. And whereas reaching the milestone of 100 years is an extraordinary achievement that deserves to be celebrated with great joy and reverence. And whereas Miss Robinson attributes her longevity to her faith in God, her love for people, her love for her children. Now therefore be resolved that the mayor and the town council for the town of Williamston hereby recognizes Sally Lee Robinson on the occasion of her 100th birthday, celebrating her life, legacy, and lasting impact she's had on her family, friends, and community. Thank you so very much, Ms. Robinson. The microphone is yours if you want to give a speech or you want to sing. We might have had a little help coming up at all. Can I hold that or you hold it up so we get a picture for the newspaper? You want to spin that around so they can see. Everybody good?
Okay, and if I can ask everyone to hold for just a moment.
Councilman Higgins.
Pastor Williams.
We got another introduction we'd like to make.
See, this way, when she tells this story, she can say, and this was my new, I took a picture with my new pastor while they honored me for my 100th birthday.
Listen to
And for everyone who does not know Pastor Williams, this is the new pastor for New Prospect Baptist Church. He's come in doing a great job from day one.
Amen.
Thank you. You're welcome to hang time. Whatever you want to do. It might be pretty boring for you, but you're welcome to hang time.
The young people have Google. We've got this out.
I can say I've been on council for many years, and that had to be the biggest joy of my life. I don't know of any other mayor that's been able to honor somebody that's lived a life of 100 years. 100 years, you've seen them done a lot. You've seen a lot of things. So thank y'all so much for coming this afternoon. At this time, we have some, Chief Marcy, if you don't mind, come on up. He's got some presentations he would like to make this afternoon. Or this evening. Make sure that mic's on if you don't mind, and grab it, grab a hold to it, and
bunch of people behind me. You know, as a police department, we have a lot of challenges, and, you know, the first step in meeting those challenges is getting the necessary resources to provide law enforcement services for this community. And a lot of those resources are not provided in-house. They're provided outside this organization. You have folks like the Department of Justice who provides our cops grant funding. You have the South Carolina Department of Public Safety. You have the school district. You've got MASC. You have the Bureau of Justice Assistance, just to name a few. And each funding organization has their own requirement of, well, first of all, what they want to accomplish. You know, when that money's given to us, it's not the fact that we have money, it's what are we going to do with that money. And each one of those entities, they have their own rules and their own regulations as to how we function in this town. This requires a lot of things. It requires strategic thinking. It requires consistent progress reports, crime analysis, budgeting, keeping up with payroll, project evaluation. And it can be a challenge because I was the guy that did it before I made chief in 2022. And when I made chief, I didn't know how we were going to move forward. But I always say, hey, the Lord's blessed me with, you know, the people that are around me. People don't come into law enforcement wanting to do these things. They come into law enforcement wanting to catch bad guys. Or I hope that's what they want to do anyway. But nobody wants to work with numbers, budgets, sit in front of a computer all the time. But I met a guy back in 1992, my first time around in law enforcement. And this guy came into law enforcement, and he absolutely wanted to do those things. By 1996, he was a grant writer. And after becoming a grant writer, he worked with millions of dollars and funded many different projects over a number of years. Well, when I became chief, I learned this guy was retiring. And I knew again that I was going to be blessed. And this guy left, he was unemployed again. I said, hey, you need a job. You can come here and help us, and guess what he did? This guy retired as a captain with the Anderson Police Department. He holds a master's degree in business. He's a certified grant writer, senior certified grant writer. He's a certified grants consultant, certified grants evaluator. He knows everything there is about grant writing. The minute this guy hit the door, we were in good shape. He hit the door running. I mean, he took the bull by the horns, was able to provide those services for this agency without any further training. He just walked in and started from day one. And I am so thankful to have this guy. Most recently, we've been audited probably 4 or 5 times by those outside entities, and we have always achieved the best score possible. And I'm appreciative of that because some of these audits can be a little tasking, if you will. But I would like Robert Rivas to come forward. So this award is given to retired Captain Robert Rivas for your exceptional performance and dedication in the administration, management, and evaluation of state and federal grant programs 2024.
Robert's also a Williamston resident, so everybody's scored. Yeah, let's get a picture right here. Good job, congratulations, thank you.
Thank you.
And since you're mentioning Williamston residents, I do want to make mention of a special person we have in the crowd with us. We have a new resident in town who has been the chief of 2 different departments in South Carolina. He left us, went to Atlanta, became the chief of St. Mary's, where he just retired. Member of the Police Chiefs Association in Georgia, where he is currently a project director. So we're glad to have with us Chief Mike Wilkie, who is now one of our residents. Thanks for being here. So while we're talking about resources, well, grants don't cover everything, unfortunately. And, you know, during the past few years, we've faced the need for equipment technology, which has been well beyond our reach. I want to say that Chris Trotter, he joined the Power Agency in April of 2021, but that wasn't enough. He wanted to become a sworn officer. He joined as a reserve, and he attended Special Basic, where he actually aced that training, became what we call a Class 1 sworn officer. But from day one, he's hit the ground, and he has been instrumental in obtaining things such as AEDs for our emergency response, stop sticks so that we can deploy those pursuits, radar units to slow down speeders, a radar sign that we can deploy in different places throughout the town, a sign to show people which way to go, a sign with LED lights, and most recently, an animal control truck with the needed equipment. But in addition to gathering those resources, he has been so instrumental in helping us out, doing traffic control, helping us with special events, helping us cover the many shifts that are short. And he also stepped up to be our reserve officer coordinator by helping get reserve officers into the department as well as coordinate their efforts. But I want to say, hey, he's always been there to help us in our time of need when those emergencies arise. And he's the kind of guy that's always talking about how we can succeed in everything. And that's what I love the most about Chris. But I'd like him to come forward for this award. And this says Williamston PD presented to Chris Trotter for commitment to excellence through the acquisition of resources and service to the community. Thank you, Chris.
Chris? Let me also add, Chris is longtime friend, long before he was here at the police department. How many of you got I know a guy? You got somebody in your life that's, I know a guy. Like, when you need something, whether it's something stupid like a light tower, who needs a light tower to party on, right? We find ourselves in that position a lot. That's the guy I call, and it never fails. I know a guy who knows a guy, and we always make things happen because I know a guy. Let me also, how many of y'all attended our 4th of July celebration event? Nobody in here? A lot of people. Lots of people. That would not have happened without Chris, I'm just telling you. So he kept telling me, Chris is persistent. I'll tell you a little bit more about him. He's persistent to the point you go, good grief, Chris, I told you no. Come on, man, come on. And so the budget for that was like 25, 50, no, it was about 15,000, something like that. Chris goes out, beats the door, gets sponsorships and all. Long story short, that $20,000 event ended up costing the town almost nothing, if anything at all. It was all set up. So that's amazing. But again, he's a bulldog. He doesn't play. When he goes after something, he got his mind set on something, it's hard to tell him no. His wife is here. She'll attest to that too, right?
So our next officer joined us in May of this year. But as luck would have it, June 19th rolls around. Just had got my 3rd shift put back together. And a burglar and a thief decides they're going to hit Williamston. Not only do they hit Williamston, but they end up hitting Tech as well. This guy stole a boat. Then when he couldn't, pull the boat around because of the problem with the tire, he decides to go to Tech, where he breaks in looking for tools and thought he hit the jackpot. So he starts breaking into property at Tech. Shook Hamden to come forward. And this says, Williamston PD presented to Shook Hamden for your exceptional performance and dedication in crime suppression and criminal apprehension, 2026.
Yep, a little more piece of detail. Congratulations. So, you leave out all the good stuff. So, all that happens to be my business, okay? So that 2 o'clock in the morning phone call was, hey, your trucks have been broken into, your doors are standing open. All your stuff, or at least a good portion of your stuff, is in this boat that was dropped over here in front of Al Sullivan's house. Y'all know where Al is. Literally in front of the police department. That's where he dropped the boat. And so Al or Miss Sullivan calls and says, I don't know what's going on, but there's a boat down my front yard, and we need to call the police, they got too long. But Officer Hamden rolls up there and sees wire and stuff like that, but all clearly belongs to objects. So he went, oh, that might be bad. So he ran up there and sure enough, all my stuff's open. So 2 things. Thank you for being observant. Appreciate you for all the work you guys do for Williamston Police Department. Thank you, because every single item I think that I got stolen was recovered. I did not get the insurance to pay for the hit vehicles. He hit a couple of my vehicles too out there in the parking lot. But I want to thank you. We appreciate it very, very much. And know this, if you're going to break into some place, politics is not the place to do it. We got more cameras you can check it in. Don't catch you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think you're all going to agree with me that the future of Williamston community are children. I mean, where would we be without our young people? They are so vital moving forward. And to make them successful, there's 2 critical factors that you have to think about. One is their education and their development, and also their health and well-being. You know, I looked it up, and obtaining basic supplies for kids going back to school in 2024 is well over $600 per child. And this could be a very difficult burden for, our young parents out there who are sending their kids back to school. And what better way is there to prepare our children to go back to school than getting the supplies that they need? And each year, we come together as a community to provide these basic needs through our annual backpack giveaway. And it takes a lot of resources to put that together, such as funding, volunteers, the coordination, of those efforts. And I want to say that this year was a record year because this program served over 300 kids. I mean, think about that, 300 children who had their school supplies provided by this wonderful group that I'm about to bring up here. But we couldn't do it without them. Moving forward, I know it's just going to get bigger and better. But I'd like to ask Lima Hamdy, Roberta Hamdy, Duke Power Representative Jody Campbell. Is someone here on behalf of American Legion? Here we go. American Legion, Christina Ortiz and Cindy Robinson. We greatly thank you for your service and for monetary gifts, which have resulted in the great success of the annual book bag drive. Therefore, on behalf of the Williamston Police Department, this token of appreciation is hereby presented this day, September 9, 2024, to each of these participants. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Can you get up front? I'm taller than you, a little bit.
Looks good.
Thank you so much. All of you. Thank you. Thank you.
So the book bag giveaway is one way that we can make a difference in the community. When I took over as mayor, almost 4 years ago now, that was one thing that was my motto, being the difference in our community, make a difference in somebody else's life. I'm gonna tell you a story that I will not forget until the day that they put me in the ground. I lived over 10 Green Drive, right beside Pam Owens. I bought that house, my wife was, she was in college. I was working as a sheriff's deputy. I think I made $16,500 or $16,900, something like that. Very little money. Had a brand new baby, and my wife, she always liked everything nice and neat. And so we had a muddy driveway, and I worked 4 Clemson ball games. Never will forget it. The Clemson ball games, for those of y'all who are police officers working at Clemson ball game, it's rough. You on your feet all day long for about 12, 14 hours in the hot sun. It is a rough, rough day. Worked 4 of those things to get big thing of gravel. And so this guy brings it. I bought my wife a transfer truckload of gravel, or dump truckload. They dump it in my driveway. And the guy, I didn't realize that you have to spread that gravel. You know, I just thought that you kind of dump it out. I didn't know anything about it. And so this guy said, "Where you want it?" I said, "Right there, the whole driveway." He said, "No, that ain't the way it works. You gonna have a pile of gravel here, buddy. You gotta move it." I said, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Okay, well, I guess right here about center of it." So I'm here to tell you, I spent 2 days in the hot sun with a wheelbarrow and a shovel and a broke back trying to move that gravel to get it spread out so my wife would have a nice place to park her vehicle. And I never will forget Joe Sullins. Any of y'all remember Joe Sullins? The name from way back. Joe used to be over the street department. And I was out there shoveling that stuff. I'm on day 2. I'm tired. I'm wore out. And Joe comes riding by on that tractor. Had a front end loader on it. I said, "Boy, if I had one of them things right now, I'd give him everything I got to get this stuff moved." Joe rides by, and about an hour later, he comes back by, and he pulled my driveway. He didn't know me from Adam's house yet. But Joe says, "What you doing?" I thought, you're smart at it, but I didn't. I said, "I'm out here trying to get this gravel, spread for my wife." He said, "You want me to do it for you? I can do it in about 5 minutes." I said, "Would you?" He said, "Yeah, I'll do that. Move out of the way." I moved my stuff out of the way. And that fella took maybe 10 minutes of his time, out of his day, on the taxpayer dime. We're paying him, okay? We're paying him, and he did me a service for free. Didn't cost me a dime. That man made a difference in my life. And it's a difference that I will never, ever, ever forget. So I empower these guys, I empower the trash guys, sanitation, go above and beyond. If you see somebody that needs some help, and it's within your capacity, your power to help them, and you're not breaking them down and doing it, help them. Don't ask me, don't call me, make a difference in somebody's life. These folks here made a difference. These folks here made a difference. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Making a difference in people's lives, that's what it's all about. When they put us in that grave, we can say, "Well done," God can say, "Well done, my good, faithful servant," because you made a difference in somebody's life. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much.
Final thing, I do want to say thanks to the mayor and council because they support us in these initiatives. Without them, none of this could happen. And I also want to thank each of you, our community, for what you contribute. Because law enforcement these days is about partnership. There's no longer we can do it on our own. We've got to work together to come together. But thanks to all of you.
Roberta, you're up. Turn that mic up back on, please. I turned it off. I'm sorry. I thought we was done. It just helps the folks online that's listening in. Okay, sorry.
Mayor, Council, I'm going to start tonight with giving one award myself. Palmetto Middle School started several years ago, and they started a mentor program, and it was started by Erica Bruce. And Miss Erica took money out of her pocket to make this happen. And she has reached the lives of so many young boys, and if you haven't got to go to her mentor's lunch, please make a point when she has one in the spring to go. Tony Haygood is one of the mentors that goes. These young men have manners. They teach them respect. They pull out the chairs for the people when they come for luncheon. And so Erica approached us a couple of years ago as Envision Williamston. And, actually, Erica didn't approach us. Somebody came to us and told us Erica was pulling money out of her pocket to make the program work. And so we reached out to Erica and said, have you asked for any help from anybody? And she said, no, I just want to make the program good. So we said, write us a letter and let us take it to our board. And we did. So each year, we try to give them a little funding to help with the program. So this year again, we'd like to give Ms. Erica Bruce from Palmetto Middle School another $500.
Here, here.
Come and get your pretend check and your real check.
Here I am again. I just want to say to you all, thank you so much. I know we're the that morning. But we have these white linen tablecloths, it's a venue, we have it catered in, that's where your monies is going, I want you to know that. They are served by Beta Club, some of these kids have never been to a restaurant before to be served. You are to pull, if it's a female that you invited, you are to pull her chair out, wait until she is seated. If it's a male, you are to shake his hand, and you're supposed to give them a gift. And it is enjoyed by all, and it just blesses my heart. And I want to tell you all something before I sit down. In this society, in this world in which we live now, when we were in school, we had a music teacher named Miss Nancy Upton, and before we began to sing, you would have to say me, and all this. I said, what is wrong with this woman? I don't want to do this. But that's what's wrong with the world now. We're all on the same note, and that's me. But it's not about me. It is about our kids, and they are our future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's one more great example of making a difference. You mentioned Brad West. He's a friend. He's a brother. Known him about all my life, I think, and I'm grateful for him and his service. Councilman Haygood, thank you for your efforts there with the mentor program, and thank you very much. That's, again, being the difference. That's what it's all about.
And we're honored to help them, and not only is she a great sponsor for the mentor, but she's a great friend. I'm honored to call her my friend as well.
Mayor, if I may add,
Please.
before you get, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Roberta. Ms. Bruce, if I could ask you a question. If there are people in the audience or listening on Facebook, businesses or individuals that want to donate to this, would the best thing to do for them to be to call the Palmetto Middle School and tell them they want to donate to this program?
Yes, that would be the best thing to do because last year I had $1,600 and I spent all of that just to pay my loan was $1,000 and then some. You gotta remember that even though Grace United does donate suits to us, every boy can't wear every size, so we buy new suits and stuff.
So if we want to donate, just call the middle school and tell us, and tell us the name of the program again. I know it, but I want to say call me Mister, but that's not it, right?
It's Palmetto Middle School Mentorship Program.
Okay.
And it's going to be a huge carryover this year because of Officer Mahaffey's coming over from 5th grade, transitioning to middle school, and I can tell by the calls I'm getting already.
So that they want to donate to the mentorship program if somebody calls. So all our folks listening out there, it's a great program, so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I shared this last year, but I'll share it again for the people that didn't hear. Erica shared with us a story about one little boy and his grandmother passed away, and he was in the program, and he had never worn a suit, and he got to wear a suit to his grandmother's funeral, and he came in tears with her and said, I just felt like somebody because of this suit. So it's phenomenal. Thank you. Now on to my regular business. Business Expo. We had that. We had 27 businesses sign up. We gave away a flat top griddle and a gift basket, and the gift basket had something from each business in the gift basket. It was a great success, and we'll definitely do it again. Spring Water Festival, we had 293 people stop by our tent to register for the solo fire pit, and Miss Sharon Lawless was the winner of that. She's a local lady here in Williamston. And the winners of the expo, the basket and the griddle, were both from Pelcher, father and son. Our Fall Scarecrow event, it runs, starts September the 13th, and it runs through October the 4th for the setup. So if you don't already have your display, get those ready. We got Mastering Your Money coming up. That will be Saturday, September the 21st from 10 to 2. We have Christine Ortiz, who's speaking for insurance. We have Upstate Federal Credit Union for banking and retirement. We have Carol Ann Newton for real estate. We have Sam Barnett for taxes. And we have Amy Broom for mortgages. And we have Roberta Handy for credit. So it's something for everybody and it's free. So if you know anybody that needs just a little refresher, send them out. It's a free event. And then lunch will be provided by Mad Dog's Barbecue after the event. Junk in Your Trunk Fall Yard Sale, Saturday, October the 28th. That's from 7 to 1. It's $10 a spot, and the money is being collected at Town Hall. The park will be closed down, and so it will be just like it was in the spring. It was a great event, and we're doing it again in the fall. Our fall pastors breakfast is Tuesday, October the 8th. Y'all have a save the date up there. Palmetto Properties Real Estate and Christine Ortiz will be the food sponsors for that event. So mark your calendars and make sure you plan to attend that. We are very excited, fall of 2025. You should have all gotten an email from me last week. We are joining forces with Caroline Community Center, and we are doing a Williamston's United Talent Show. The proposed date for that is September the 22nd. Thank you for the ones who's already sent me support letters. We have a Duke Energy grant that we're going to apply for. Finally got my login information back on that, so we can apply for that grant. And there's several others that we're going to apply for. We're going to try to make this as inexpensive as possible so that everybody will be able to participate and have a good time. We are going to ask mayor and council if they would allow us to use town hall on September the 27th for this event, simply because town hall holds more people, and we're hoping for a really big event. So, is that something we've already checked the date and it is available?
Consider it done.
Thank you, sir. Wine tasting event is still in the works. That's going to be the spring of 2025. The proposed date for that is April the 26th. But we have decided to change the location, possibly to the Veterans Park. It's more isolated there. It's going to be easier for people coming and going. It will be completely away from the children.
I'm sorry, when was that?
That's going to be spring of 25, April the 26th.
Okay.
25. And we would like mayor and council's permission, if we get all the details worked out, to be able to exclusively use the Veterans Park for that day and close it off.
Keep in mind, there's a possibility, I know they're gonna start the trail construction very soon. I'm expecting that to happen this year, so it may carry over into the spring. Hopefully it'll be done by then, so.
Would it affect what's already there?
I think they are gonna tie into it and do some improvements to the circular area where it's asphalt currently.
Okay. Okay.
But we'll figure that out.
But are we
We
good?
got- you should be-
Are we good for the date of barring no complications?
Yep.
Okay. And that's everything I have.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Keep making a difference, right?
Oh, and one more thing. You've got a proposed calendar for next year. We've already started working on that. When you get a chance to look over that for 2025, if you see anything we missed or anything we need to add, please let us know so that we can get that on there. We'd like to publish that as soon as possible, just so we don't have dates that interfere with other towns or other things. So, but you've got a copy of that for save the date. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, under old business, item number 1, we have a second reading of an ordinance approving the annexation of Anderson County TMS number 244-00-05-022 into the corporate limits of the town of Williamston. This will be second and final reading, so I'll read it in its entirety. Or at least I'll try to. Whereas Anderson School District 1, 100% owner of the Anderson County TMS number 244-00-05-022, has filed a petition with the town of Williamston for annexation of this property in the corporate limits of the town of Williamston. And whereas proper petition has been filed with the town council by 100% of the freeholders owning 100% of the assessed value of the contiguous property hereinafter described, petitioning for the annexation of the property to the town of Williamston under the provisions of South Carolina Code 5-3-150. And whereas the property as more fully described in Exhibit A is contiguous to the corporate limits of the town of Williamston, and whereas any portion of the public right-of-ways abutting the above described property will also be included in annexation, and whereas it appears the town council that annexation will be in the best interest of the property owner and the town, now therefore be ordained by the town council of the town of Williamston that the property described herein as more fully shown in Anderson County TMS number 244-00-05-022 is recorded in Anderson County Register of Deeds, hereby annexed and becomes part of the town of Williamston corporate limits. The property annexed under this ordinance shall be zoned INS Institutional District. That is, for those of you who are in the audience or maybe watching online, that's actually the track back behind Palmetto High School. The property line, the city limits actually divided the property line. So the entire TMS number that I just read off, part of it was in the city, part of it was in the county. They're going to bring it all into the city. That way it helps our officers and others with jurisdictional boundaries. We know all of Palmetto High School is in the city limits of Williamston. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept on second and final reading that ordinance approving that annexation request. Motion by Councilman Haygood,
Second.
Second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion?
Mayor, I'm certainly in favor of this and wanted to, this time state, I know we had a resident right outside the town speak earlier about services. And for any residents that are outside of the Williamston town limits, if you would like to become part of the town of Williamston, if you'd like to be annexed in, then I know that's something that I would certainly love to look at, and I believe the other mayor and other members of council would. And so if it's just a single resident or a group together, you have to be contiguous, meaning touching something in the town. But if you contact one of us, we can look at that and see if that's something that can happen. We certainly would love to grow to our natural boundaries, but it's the property owners have to consent to it. So.
Or at least the majority. There's other ways too. I think the lady that just spoke earlier, she's over off of Hamilton Street. I believe there's an Oakmont subdivision or Oaks something subdivision. Mm-hmm. If the majority of those, and if that's contiguous, if those majority of residents wanted to come in, they could petition an annex for annexation. So that's possible as well. We're always looking to expand our boundaries. There's two ways you're able to continue to provide services to our town residents in the same capacity that we do now. Obviously, everything's went up. Either you grow business, grow the town, or you tax people higher. And I prefer growing or having more business. That works out better for everybody. I've got a business in town. I've got my primary residence in town. So anytime I can avoid having to pay higher taxes, that's what we want to do. Thank you for those comments. Anybody else got any comments? All right, hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed. It's unanimous. So that takes effect immediately, by the way. All right, next up, we have an ordinance to amend the Town of Williamston's budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, to provide funding to replace the HVAC units for the Town Hall Auditorium. That's the space right behind us here. Whereas Town Council for the Town of Williamston has previously adopted a budget for the Town of Williamston for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, and whereas it has come to the attention of Town Council for the Town of Williamston that since the passing of the 24-25 budget, that 4 HVAC units for the Town Hall Auditorium need to be replaced. It's actually 6, but we're going to replace them with larger units, making 4. Whereas the Town Council desires to amend the 2024-2025 budget in the amount of up to $125,000 in order to provide funding for the purchase and installation of a new Mitsubishi VRF system, and now therefore be ordained by the Town Council of the Town of Williamston that the previously adopted budget hereby amends as follows: that up to $125,000 from the fund balance is to be reallocating to fund the purchase and installation of a new Mitsubishi VRF system for the Town Hall Auditorium. Now, let me also add, well, we'll go ahead and entertain a motion to accept that.
I make a motion.
Have a motion on the floor by Council Lady Austin.
Second.
Have a second by Councilman Alexander. This was brought to our attention, particularly this summer. We've had lots of people want to rent that venue space, and it's obviously it's an older structure. All the HVAC units are tremendously old, and they're just not doing their job, to be honest with you. When it gets above 85 degrees, it's almost unbearable in there, which makes people say, you know what, I'm not willing to pay the $800 or whatever it is a day to rent that space. This would, number one, keep that space conditioned as it needs to be, but number two, we're confident that it's going to cut our energy costs tremendously. Right now, those units run, even at 75 degrees right now, they're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you ask me how I know that, because I put thermostats in where I can track the usage of it, whether it be heating or cooling. The average bill here at this complex is about $5,000 a month in energy consumption. That's a lot. So we're hoping those variable speed units will cut that down. I'll also add that we did post a proposal for those units to be replaced on South Carolina Small Business Opportunity and several other locations throughout. We received 2 bids. The first bid came in from Inverter Mechanical Piping Solutions out of Columbia, South Carolina, and that proposed amount was $307,780. Again, we had the scope of work listing out the specific equipment so that anybody who bid on it's compared apples to apples. It's literally those same part numbers, the whole 9 yards. And we had a consultant come in and tell us, this is what you need to be able to make that space what it needs to be. The second was MM Services out of Greenville, South Carolina, and they came in at $124,932, so just barely under the $125,000 we're asking for. I would like to read a little bit of their proposal just for council members so they're aware. The venue is approximately 7,500 square foot and is currently conditioned with 6 split system that equals 18 tons of cooling. The average life expectancy of a split system is 15 to 20 years. Each one of those systems are 20-plus years old, and one is 5 years old. Currently, when the outdoor temperature is above 85 degrees, the space is humid and warm, leaving guests uncomfortable. A venue this size is required to have 30 tons of cooling, delivering 1 ton of cooling per 250 square foot, compared to the current 1 ton of cooling per 416 square foot. So we're significantly undersized in those units. So they're proposing a total of $27,449.58 in labor, $82,080 in equipment, and other incidental materials, ductwork, that type of stuff is $15,402.42, bringing a grand total of $124,932. My request to council is that we amend the budget and allow me permission to go ahead and execute this contractual service with M&M Services, who is the low bid on the project. All right, that being said, I'll entertain, we've already had a motion, second. Any further discussion on this project?
Mayor, briefly, I suspect that some of our citizens may have thought like I did when they see this number, or perhaps when they saw it at first reading, that it was got some sticker shock that was very high, and that's what I thought at first as well. But I am constantly now thinking that things are more expensive than I thought they would be, but I think that's just how everything is now. And looking at this, I don't think it's, and you just heard the other quote we had was more than double. So I don't think, even though this is a high amount to anybody, I don't think it's unreasonable for what's being done, and for the hope that it's going to save us on our monthly bill, and will, in the numbers that were shown, could be substantial savings. And also that this will, something that's greatly needed. Our auditorium was fully renovated approximately 7 to 8 years ago, except for the HVAC units and a few other things, but at least for a lot of it was fully renovated. And to me, it really is the nicest place in the area to have any type of event: wedding receptions, parties, birthday parties, class reunions, all kinds of things like that. And it's my understanding that it is rented out and utilized basically every weekend. And so we want that to keep happening. We want people to be comfortable using it in the summertime as it continues to be extremely hot. And you know how it is; it's likely to be hot in the fall and the spring too. So I am in favor of this, and I think over time it will be a good investment for our facilities here.
No doubt it will. Thank you for those comments. No doubt it will save some money. Is it going to pay for itself in a year or two? Probably not. But we will have some realized savings on that. Let me also add too, what precipitated this was we have a contracting group that comes in every year and does an annual inspection. They clean the coils and stuff like that to make sure that the units we have, which are mostly older units, are still operating as best they can. 2 of those units are gas packs, meaning that they have natural gas inside of a combustion chamber with a blower that heats up, and the blower that blows across. I got a phone call that said, we got 2 of these gas packs have to be replaced right now, or you got to turn them off. And we're approaching winter time, and I was like, well, what's going on? I said, better me show you than to actual try to explain to you over the phone. So I came up here, met with the guy who does the inspections, and those you could literally stick your finger inside through the steel because it had done decayed away to the point where we run the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning and that type of stuff. That is not what we want. So and those units have no way of telling that, hey, you got carbon monoxide being pumped into the air. So we just went and shut those units off for now, and like I said, they're doing the best they can. These units are all electric, heat pump, and They're the variable speed. I don't know if y'all seen that. I call them European air conditioning units, but they're smaller. They the fans don't. Most of your traditional air conditioners are either on wide open or they're off. There's no in between. These are variable speed. In other words, as the demand calls for it, the compressor will run faster, the fans will run faster. But when it doesn't need all that, instead it runs all the time, it uses less energy, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where we came up with that. We're approaching winter time, and we know that we can't operate here without 2 units, and that's what we'd in essence be doing. All right. At this time, any other dialogue on that? At this time, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed. I will contact M&M Services tomorrow and let them know they can get started ASAP. Next up, we have a resolution committing the town of Williamston to provide local match for Municipal Association South Carolina Hometown Economic Development Grant and following its procurement policy while securing services and product with grant funds. Be it therefore resolved by the Town of Council of the Town of Williamston hereby commits to provide a local cash in-kind match of at least $1,250, which equals the minimum 5% local match required by the Municipal Association of South Carolina to support the Town of Williamston's application for a $25,000 Hometown Economic Development Grant. The grant and local matching funds will be used for the purchase and installation of updating existing wayfinding signage and to purchase new wayfinding signage for Brookdale Park, the Gray Drive walking trail located within the town limits. Be it therefore further resolved that the Town of Council of the Town of Williamston will follow its procurement policy adopted by South Carolina Code of Laws 11-35-50 when securing all services and products purchased with funds awarded from a Hometown Economic Development Grant. This resolution is made in regard to the submission of an application for the Hometown Economic Development Grant Funds to the Municipal Association of South Carolina on or before September the 27th, 2024. At this time, I will entertain a motion to commit $1,250 of hospitality tax toward the match of that $25,000 grant that we are applying for.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion on the floor by Council Lady Austin,
Second.
second by Councilman Cole. Any discussion? All right, just hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And it's unanimous. If y'all will pass this, I'm gonna start with Councilman Haygood. Y'all sign that, pass it back this way so we can get that to the town attorney and they can get that posted ASAP. Since that is, time is of the essence on that one. All right, I have no further information or no further agenda items. Does anybody have anything for the good of the order? All right, I've got one quick thing. How many of y'all have been by Bojangles recently in that little pocket park there, seen this ugly looking wood structure that seems like somebody starts on, then they stop, then they start, then they stop? It's been going on for about a year. I have terminated that contractor. There's always something going on. We need that project done. That's the idea. That's going to be a gazebo there that will closely match the Mineral Spring gazebo. That is, it won't be identical, but it's very, very close to identical. That's a main focal point of the town. When my predecessor, Mayor Durham, had the pocket park built, it was understood there would be a gazebo one day when the funding was allowed, so we put that in the budget. And we've contracted it out to the same guy who built what we call the wedding gazebo across the creek, where you see a lot of wedding stuff at. He just is not cutting it. He's brought, I forget what my Facebook post said, slow and easy. He's brought it to a whole new level. So his contract's terminated, and we have, I've had 3 people go out today and look at it. So I expect to have pricing by the end of the week, at which time we don't have to council have to take any further action because we've already appropriated the funding for it. So I hope to see some more activity on that ASAP.
Thank you.
And if anybody knows of anyone else who might be interested in throwing a number or a bid on that, let me know. All right. Anybody else? Good to the order.
Mayor, I move that we,
All right, have a motion on the floor to adjourn. You're just gonna let me talk all night if you don't, right?
I second.
All right, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander, a second by Council Lady Austin. Any discussion on adjourning? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? And